Hello, and welcome to another one of my watch reviews. Today we are going to be looking at a Rolex 16233 Datejust, which to my understanding was produced from 1989 to about 2003 or so. And thought I'd go over some of the general features of this watch and a little bit of a visual overview. So to begin, let's take a look at the Rolex box this watch arrives in. If you'll take a look over here, we'll see that it's got Rolex Oyster on the box here, and this like a natural stone background, cardboard box. And inside the box, we'll see the Rolex green leather case, and there's the Rolex symbol on it. Kind of a cool detail. And pull it out of here. So just a green leather box, but again, I think it's pretty cool with this little Rolex detail they did here. It's hard to see, but pretty cool. They it's like a negative imprint. So they ended up carving almost, it looks like some of the leather out to get that effect, and it's pretty cool. And it's got a nice little seaming around the side as well. Take a look inside here. We'll see that you got your Rolex symbol on the wood case back, and if you look at the cloth that the watch comes wrapped in as well, there's also a Rolex crown on this. I don't know what you call this stuff. It feels almost like a suede cloth here. And if we unwrap the cloth, inside we have our wristwatch. And if we look over here, we have the Rolex famous hologram tag. See how the Rolex logo goes in and out, depending on the way the light hits it. But that's just all part of the packaging. What we're really here to see is this watch here. Here is the infamous Rolex Datejust. This particular one, as I said, is a 16233 model. Mine is a 1993. It is in very, very early S series. And S was a little bit of a transitional series from what I've read on, in that it was the series where they decided to get rid of the lug holes right here. So I have a very early one. The holes for the bracelet on the side of the case are still here. However, I believe S2 serial numbers and up, these holes are no longer here. So early S serials, they're there. Later S serials, they're not there, is my understanding. Let's take a look at the watch. We take the head and tag off of here. So if we zoom in on the face here, this watch is the 18 karat gold version. 18 karat and stainless, excuse me. Early Datejust had 14 karat gold. This is one where they've already done the transition to 18 karat gold. And this one does not have a luminous dial either. This one is all gold. So the hands, there is no lume on the hands, there's no lume on the dial at all. So this watch does not glow in the dark. So if you're into reading your watches at night, this is not the watch for you. Majority of the Datejust that I've seen have the luminous feature. I'm actually kind of surprised this one doesn't. So again, if this is not the kind of watch you want to be wearing at nighttime, if we take a look, you can see all the markers on the dial itself are gold. So all the Roman numerals are gold, the hands are gold, the crown is gold. Here's the famous 18 karat gold fluted bezel. And the bracelet, of course, is all 18 karat gold. The crown, again, as everything else on the watch, 18 karat gold. There's the famous Rolex crown logo. It just has a straight line below it because this is not the triple lock crown like you'd see on a sub. It is, however, an oyster case model, so it does screw down. If you unscrew it, And you can sort of see the threads. This uses the Rolex in-house 31-35 movement. And if you pull it out, the crown completely, it is a hacking movement. This is the same movement that they use in the Sub, and they use various other versions of this movement, to my understanding, in the Explorer and the President and the majority of the Rolex line. Put it back in. One of the other features of the 16233 models is that this was not only the first model to put in a sapphire case, or excuse me, not case, crystal. The earlier 16013 model Datejust did not have a sapphire crystal, to my understanding. This one also has the quick set date function. So if I pull it out to the first position, second position, excuse me, first position is winding. If I pop it out one more time, the second position, this is the quick set function, so I can change the date at my leisure without having to go through the whole day cycle and do it the old-fashioned way. So again, this is a quick set model. You have to push the crown in and then twist to get it back on its winding threads, or its threads, excuse me. As with all Rolexes, well actually I shouldn't say all, most Rolexes, this just has a plain case back on it. A few exceptions, the Rolex Deep Sea has writing on the back of the case, and the Tudor models have writing. There's probably a few other exceptions, but majority of Rolex case backs look just like this one, assuming they've had their hologram sticker removed. This one, the hologram sticker would have sat here years and years ago, but this one being a 93, it's long gone because they eventually do wear off and people just take them off. So that's the way most Rolexes should look, a completely plain case back. As this is an older model, it's got the common stamped clasp. If you look, it's a little bit shiny. Hopefully I can get some detail on it. So again, this is just a stamped fold-over clasp. Pretty common. Newer Datejust use a more of like a flip-lock kind of clasp. It's much nicer than these older ones have. I prefer the newer style clasp. See if we can zoom in on the bracelet where it attaches. It's hard to make out, but there's the stamping on the bracelet. It says 455, designating this is one of the gold models, to my understanding. This bracelet is what they call the Jubilee bracelet. It's pretty comfortable. All the center links are 18 karat solid gold. They are, however, hollow. If you look through, you can see through them. They're just essentially big circles. So the bracelet's actually pretty light, and it's very comfortable and flexible for that reason. The one negative side of these 18 karat gold bracelets is that 18 karat gold is soft, and over time they tend to get looser, and they can stretch out quite a bit. So if you're looking at an older Datejust, make sure you get a bracelet that's still pretty firm. Otherwise, like I said, they get pretty loose. I think the watch is just absolutely gorgeous. I love the Roman dial on it. And that beautiful crisp printing that Rolex always does on their dials. They do, I think, an incredible job at the printing on their dials. It's quite a shiny watch, and the way the light catches it, the gold looks all sorts of different colors during the day. It's got a pretty cool effect. You see just me rotating it a little bit, how much it changes the way it looks in terms of coloration. You can see how small the date actually is too from this angle. That's why that Cyclops on Rolex watches is such a neat feature, because the date is actually quite small on these watches. That does a pretty good job at magnifying what's there so that it's legible. Again, you can see those beautiful gold hands and how they reach all the way out to the outer ring of the dial. A lot of replica watches get really short, stubby hands, but Rolex watches, their hands are of a really good length, and it really is good for legibility. There's the beautiful applied crown, if I can get it to zoom in. You can actually see how thick that crystal is from this perspective. It's got a pretty deep dish to it. Look, it sits on top of this fluted bezel, and it's got quite a substantial look to it, that crystal. It looks pretty tough. I don't plan on testing its durability, but I imagine it's more than up to the job of everyday wear. This is a watch that I just wore to work and gets banged up on my desk, and so far it looks pretty nice. As you can see, the bracelet's got a little bit of wear in it because this is, again, a 1993 model. The underside of the bracelet is brushed, whereas the upper part of the bracelet is polished. Sides of the bracelet, or excuse me, of the case itself are polished. However, it's brushed on top. Same with the clasp. It's polished on the side, brushed on the top. And this brushed effect helps it from picking up too many scuffs on a desk, as most of these watches are worn day to day and can tend to get a little banged up, so it's nice to have the most common surfaces that touch other surfaces be brushed. They don't pick up too many different scuffs. So overall, it's a very pretty watch. I really enjoy it. If you're looking at one of these, I suggest picking up one of these older ones like this one. This is actually, you know, today they make a model that looks almost identical to this. This watch, like I said, is a 1993, but you can buy one that looks just like this, and it's going to set you back over $10,000. In fact, I'll grab the advertisement and I'll show you. So this 16233 model is going to set you back about $2,500 to $4,500 on average, depending on condition and who you buy it from and what kind of warranty they give you with it pre-owned. But a current model, which looks identical to it, right here, if we look, is actually going to run you about $10,100. And if we look at them together, you'll see that they haven't bothered to change much in the over the last decade, almost 2 decades since this watch was produced. So I think a used Rolex Datejust represents quite a value. And while I can understand why people buy new watches, I think you're going to get a much better value if you buy a pre-owned one like this. I bought this watch and it came with a 1-year warranty as well. And to me, it just represents an outstanding value. Some of the things you're going to be looking for when you're looking at purchasing a pre-owned Datejust: sapphire crystal means you're going to be paying more. So the 16233s, this model, go for more money in general than the 16013s because you're paying for the sapphire crystal and the quick set date function. Quick set models go for a higher premium. Models that don't have the holes in the case as well tend to have about a $200 premium on their price. I actually prefer the case holes. I think it's kind of a nod to Rolex heritage and just think it's a cool look. But if you prefer one without these holes, you're going to pay a little bit of a premium for that as well. The one thing, like I said earlier, that I do like about the newer Rolexes, though, is they have a much nicer clasp than this clasp. But when it's on your wrist, that's not something you're really going to be noticing. So I think this represents a great value for watches. It's most likely going to hold its value. Should you ever need money, they're incredibly easy to sell. They tend to hold their value quite well, and in some cases you can even make a profit if you buy the right ones. I've actually made money on my Submariner, and I anticipate if I keep this one long enough too, I'll make a little bit of a profit on it. And I just, you know, the build quality from a case and bracelet perspective is not the greatest, but in terms of reliability and just the overall precision of the movement itself and just the overall package in regards to value and just a piece of watchmaking history, I think this represents an incredible buy. So I'd highly recommend anybody interested in watches, dress watches, Rolex watches, watches in general, look at a Datejust. I think it represents, again, a wonderful value in the watch world, and I wouldn't second guess any purchase for one of these. Get it from a reputable dealer. The old saying in the watch world is buy the seller, not the watch. Buy from a reputable dealer and pick one of these up. Again, I think you won't be disappointed. It's a tremendous watch. And I'll leave you with this close-up of the face. Thanks again for watching.